the curse is we can do anything we want, right? So it's a massive benefit, but there's also the issue of what wouldn't be limited in that situation, right? The other benefit of the market system, self-sufficient. I don't have to do everything. I know we jokingly talked about breakfast yesterday and all those fun little aspects of it. But the big thing is I just focus on me. I just take care of myself. And as long as I'm taken care of and I'm doing my job and doing the best I can do, then everyone else benefits, right? And that's the other thing too, and this is one of the perks of the system, is it forces you, the individual, to become the best at what you do, which means everyone else benefits from that, right? Because if you're mediocre or you're sloppy or you're not good, who's going to want to get your services? You might find someone who can't afford the best and they might settle for you, but do you ever want someone to settle for your services or settle for your product? You want the best, right? So it kind of forces the society or the economy to push to be the best at what it's doing. We had also talked about, of course, the new technologies and the new things that can be created. Are there anything new things out there that you guys know of? Because I brought up that grocery cart. That was like the newest thing I just happened to catch the other day. Anything you guys have seen new technology-wise or new product, something new that's out there, kind of up and coming? Yeah.
Elon Musk came out with something. It was I can't think of what it was called exactly, but it's essentially just a Wi-Fi router that you can plug in, and then it's like a satellite dish.
Yes. Yeah, but I caught that.
Starlink, I think, or something.
Yeah, there was. I think the one I saw was an experiment. Someone put it. It was in a snowstorm, and apparently it gives off just enough heat that it keeps the snow melted, so it doesn't ever get frozen over. But it's an independent Wi-Fi or satellite router. It gets you service really. I think they were like running 4 or 5 things off of it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And it was all so. Yeah, so that was independent of satellite like DirecTV or any of the satellites they just went to.
I think the whole idea was that it's based off of a lot more smaller satellites rather than having a huge supply.
Yeah. Does anybody by any chance? I'm like a legitimate question. Does anybody know how many satellites are out there? Because we tend to like think of like when someone says a satellite, but we've been saying putting satellites out for what, 30 years now, 40 years? So I'm curious as to how many satellites are actually up in the atmosphere going. Anything else? Anything new? Or I still remember a couple years back when the HoloLens and the Google Glasses came out, and everyone was like, "This is so cool." And now when we look back, we go, "Oh my gosh, how stupid was that?" Because the Google Glasses, like whoever's wearing glasses, it would be like a little thing you would attach to the glasses. And then if you didn't have glasses, you actually had to get a frame with a little piece of plastic over here, and you could see it just out of the corner of your eye. It was like this little, yeah. So, anyways, in regards to specialization, this is kind of the newest portion of this. Again, I need to use these resources efficiently. If you come across someone who, well, again, sorry, I'm bringing it on the TikTok I came across. It was a woman explaining why she's using metal studs in her house or her building. And she said it's efficient. I'm not wasting the wood. The wood is really expensive right now. For those who didn't catch this did anybody try to do any home projects during the shutdown? Anybody's parents or family members? Because I have a porch in my garage. It took me 4 months to get the wood delivered to me because they were so back ordered, because everyone was working on stuff at the houses. So Depot and Lowe's and all the lumber shops were out of wood. They couldn't keep up with the demand because the demand was so high, supply was diminished. So this woman was talking about how metal studs are actually faster. They can go up easier. It's less waste because I clip off a little bit and it's done, rather than cutting wood and having this piece of wood, wasting wood. So again, efficiency, making things faster. Again, I'm kind of a dork for some of this stuff, but I love home improvement shows. And whenever they do like drywalling stuff, like for me, has anybody in here ever had the experience of being around drywall or trying to work with drywall? Unless you do it like thousands and thousands of times, it sucks. And you have to but if I watch someone on TV do it, they're like,
Yeah, they make it look so easy.
mud, done, and paint.
They make it
You're
look
like,
so easy.
yeah. Right. So again, those are the people that you typically hire. Specialization provides markets. Right. Think of all of the minute little things I came across. I'm a big before and after person. I love those videos where it shows you the before and the after. One of the new ones I came across, it's kind of gross, but it's also kind of satisfying, is the guy that cleans phones. Does anybody come across this by any chance? This guy's got like a microscope, but he actually has people send in his phones. And I found his YouTube channel, so I subscribed. And he basically takes this microscope and he has small little tools. He goes in and cleans out like lints in the charging ports and the microphones and the speakers. And it's just a dorky little thing. But guess what? Someone pays him really good money to fix the phone, clean the phone, and he likes it. And he said he started out as just a hobby, and someone found out about it, and so he's like, okay, I'll do it for like $200. And now he's like backward. He's like constantly trying to fix up. There's another one I came across in regards to efficiency. Sorry for rambling on. It was a young kid. He's actually, I think he was maybe 19, 20, a little bit older than you guys. He was in a, and again, I just came across him a couple days ago, computer repair shop. And he was like his obsessive compulsive cleaning freak. And so he was working for this guy who didn't really care about the business. And so the guy shut the business down and said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It sucks. But the kid loved it. So he said he had to do two things. He had to pay for his employment or his business license from the state of Florida. And I think he had to, I think it was a rent. That was it. Rent for the location and his business license from the state of Florida. And then he opened up his own business. Now he's got a YouTube channel. He's got, I think, a 1 million followers. And so he's making money from YouTube. And all it is him cleaning computers. And he opens up laptops, he just cleans them out and renews them. But again, people pay for that stuff. I talked about the labor force when we talked about someone here told me about the cuddling company. We can actually hire someone to cuddle with you, right? If people provide services, people will pay for it. And if no one buys it, this is where the market figures it out. If no one buys your service, what happens? You don't provide it anymore. No one buys it, so it goes away. So we as a market can decide. So the 3 economic questions are made by voluntary exchange in the markets. Voluntary exchange is huge. Nothing in a market system is forced upon you. In a free market, you get to pick, you get to choose. If you don't like it, you don't buy it. If you like it, you buy it. There's no mandated government insurance. There's no healthcare mandatory. There's no taxation. There's no laws. There's no nothing. It's all completely up to you. Right? Choices are made by the individual. So those 3 questions, if we ask them again, I'm trying to figure out which economy I'm dealing with, what to produce, it's completely up to you. Okay? How to produce, totally up to you and your business. You can do old school, you can do new school, you can do a combination of the 2. I'm not sure if I told you the story or not, but I remember when Mr. Kostachek, is anybody in graphics? Mr. Kostachek was hired. I was actually on the team because I was kind of like the Mac tech person at the time. And if you've ever been down to the graphics area, has there anybody been into VMI graphics? It's all Mac. Everything's Mac, right? Because that's the platform that works really well with that type of product. And he knew all the old school stuff, all of it. He wasn't very tech savvy. He was, and even in the interview, he was like, well, I kind of know some of the technology, but I was not a fan. I thought, no, he needs to know technology. But I think it was in the first month or 2 of school when he was hired, one of the kids came up to class and they were like, it's kind of cool. I mean, last year I learned all the tech stuff, but now I know where it came from because he taught me all the old school methodology. In case the technology doesn't work, I have to still be able to do my job, and here's how to do it. So again, old school, new school, how do I do those different things? And then for whom things are made, who's my customer base? Completely up to you. You guys can pick and choose who you want to sell to. You don't have to sell when you don't want to. It's one of those, again, pure free market. There's no government stepping in and saying you must sell to this group, or you must sell to this group. Nope. If you don't like that group, don't sell to that group. If you like that group, sell to the group. It's all up to you. Individuals and privately owned businesses own the land, the labor, the capital. So there's no, again, I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but there's no government. It's completely and utterly individuals' choices. And that's the kind of thing I'm trying to drive home.
Teachers, please excuse the interruption. If at this time you have not taken your morning attendance in Power Teacher, please do so. Our Black River students are now here and attendance can be taken. Thank you.
Got that? Some of the things that came out, just want to make sure you guys are aware of. Market economics is equal to capitalist economics. So when we talk about capitalism and market economics, they're almost identical or synonymous with each other. We almost interchange them. Okay? There's a couple small little differences, but nothing major. The United States of America equals free enterprise, which all goes along with the free market and capitalism. So if you're looking for similarities, because every once in a while people in the past I've been teaching class are kind of confused as to markets and capitalism, and so one of the big things if you guys go back and watch any of the old Russian versus the Soviet Union versus USA, all those older movies, one of the big huge things, and we'll find out about this when we talk about command economics, is we were all about independent choice, individual decisions, independence, freedoms, you guys pick and choose, whereas the socialized systems are government mandated, government controlled. So there was a constant battle between, is it your choice and your freedoms, or do you want the government to control the system? So the Cold War, way back when, was all about communism versus capitalism, government control versus individual freedoms. So it became a big, huge battle for years and years and years. Now, this is something you will hear and see a couple questions that you will see for sure on this. This is the basic circular flow model. So in this system, there are households and there are firms. Households are us as customers. Firms are exactly what you probably think they are. They're all the businesses. Okay, so those are the two actors. The product market is the easier of the two markets to figure out. Product market is what we do 100% of the time, all the time, when we go out shopping. I go to the store, I get the product, and I give them the money, and they give me the product. So there's this exchange of just the product market. I go to Walmart, I give them my money, and they say, okay, the product is now yours. I go to a restaurant, they give me the food, I pay the bill, right? So there's an exchange of products. Very, very simple. The factor market is the other side of that same exact coin, right? If you guys have ever gone to Longhorn Steakhouse, there are people that are working there that are getting paid to provide you that service. That is the factor market, the factors of production, right? The land, the labor, the capital. Right? So anytime you guys are going to work and you're working and you have to deal with idiotic customers from time to time, that's the factor market, right? Product market is when you buy stuff. Factor market is when you're selling the stuff and you have to deal with customers, right? In this system, right, I provide them money, they give me products. Over here, I provide them services, or I provide them the land, or I provide them the machinery, and they, in turn, pay me for my services, or they pay me for my product, or they pay me for my land. Okay, very, very simple. What major thing is missing from that we have in our society? Anytime you buy something, is it just for the product? What else do you have to pay along with that product? Taxes, right? So this is a free market circular flow model. There's no government. The one I show you guys a little bit later on, when we talk about free enterprise, is a lot more intricate in the sense that we have the government in. We had taxes, we had services from the government. So this one's the super, super simple one, right? So we got the two product market, factor market, households, firms, pretty basic, nothing special. All right. Now there's two people in economics that you typically hear about. The first one is Adam Smith. This is going to be a name, if you ever go down to economics, if you're in business classes, you will hear Adam Smith's name from now until the end of time, right? Especially if you're ever dealing with, or if you ever watch anybody in politics and they talk about economics, a lot of them refer back to Adam Smith, Chaim Chomsky, there's a couple other economists out there that deal in this area. But Smith is the big one. His book is called The Wealth of Nations. And then there's a big, huge, long subtitle over there. But a lot of actually what the U.S. was based off of, way, way back in 1776 all the way through 1787, in that time frame, we took from Smith's philosophies. So our economic systems, our values came from Smith. He was used in a couple of our founding documents as well. They even quoted certain things from him and used them. The self-interest, however, is like the key. There's two things that he's known for. Self-interest, and the other one will be in the next slide. It's called the invisible hand theory. This goes back to we talked about a little while ago in regards to taking care of myself and becoming the expert. As long as I take care of me, everyone else benefits. One of the quotes from his book is, and I'm going to actually edit this. It is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own interest. Right? Does anybody know what benevolence is? Give me a guess as to what benevolence is. Yes, sir.
I always just thought of like loyalty or something, but sounds fancy.
It does sound fancy, and you can kind of look at it from almost like a give the people what they like. Give it to them, and I'll do just out of the kindness of my heart. Benevolence would be if I walked around and you guys were working on a worksheet and I came around and I gave you the answer, and I just gave you the answers to all those little questions. That would be benevolent. I'm not getting anything from it. I'm just doing it to be nice. So when I look at the butcher, the baker, and the brewer, when you guys go in their shops, has anybody ever been to a butcher shop? It's actually pretty impressive. Butcher shop, do they do that just because they're being nice and kind and giving things to people for free? No. You go in and you're going to pay some nice money for a really good cut of meat. Sometimes you actually take, anybody ever gone hunting? You go to a butcher shop and they'll cut it up for you. I mean, but again, they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because they can pay for the service. And again, going back to the experts, if you find someone that's really, really good, you constantly go back to that same person. I would imagine, ladies, this is more of a thing for you than for guys. Someone who does your hair, that you know knows your hair, you tend to go back to someone who knows what you want. Same thing with guys. If we're looking at, and I know I'm being stereotypical here, so I apologize if I'm hurting anyone's feelings. But if I go to like someone who I know works on cars and I know that they know what they're talking about, I go to that person. Right? If you guys are going to, this is in general, a restaurant. Anybody ever been to Murray Hill up in Cleveland area? Little Italy?
Oh, I've been up there, but
If you ever go up to an actual Italian restaurant run by Italians, going back to lasagna, right? You will find experts in that field, and you go to those places because you know they know what they're doing. And they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're probably charging you a little bit extra money because they know they're good at this stuff. So again, it's not out of benevolence, it's out of self-interest. So let me give you guys an example of how self-interest can benefit everyone. So I have a nice sized TV at home, 65 inches. I bought it a couple years ago. But as is normal, after a couple of years of using my TV, I'm thinking, you know what? It's time to get a bigger TV. I would like an 85-inch TV. I don't know how I'm going to fit up over the mount to the wall, but I want that 85-inch TV. So I go to Best Buy. I know that they have it, or I go to Costco, and I walk in, and they have this TV, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. So I purchased this TV. Now, the funny thing about buying this TV out of self-interest, I just want a TV, is who benefited from me buying that TV, right? Let's go with Best Buy. Best Buy benefits because they get a sale. If there was a clerk that was working during that time frame, they helped me out with it. their service is being benefited because they're also helping out with the electric bill. They're also helping out with the gas bill. It's also helping out with any of the other stocking of products there. Plus, the person who actually delivered the TV themselves at one point probably had to use that truck. The big huge semi was purchased by some company who created. But on the way to the shop to drop off the TV, whoever the driver was stopped at probably a gas station or two to get some gasoline. So the gas companies are taken care of, as well as he stopped. He also got a Hostess cupcake because that's the thing that he likes while he's driving. So he got cupcakes, but Hostess had to provide that, and they had to get the plastic for that and plastic cellophane around it, plus the sugar for the Hostess cupcake. And the sugar came from a truck that was delivered from Florida, where they got the sugar from. But the truck had to stop and get brand new tires because the tires were off. So the rubber company has to develop those tires. So Firestone on Akron, right? So the person in Akron who actually helps work at this factory got a nice pay raise because they were making more tires for certain companies. And that guy went out and bought themselves a brand new boat. And the boat that they got has all of the pieces parts that go along on this boat. One of them being a GPS unit. The GPS unit was made in China, but it had to be traveled across. They had to travel across the ocean. So there was a big, huge tanker, and the tanker has all sorts of metal mechanisms on there that they were used to create. Plus the diesel engine. Diesel engine is fuel from another place they had to get, and that's also specialized fuel. I mean, I could keep on going and keep on going and keep on, because I want to buy a TV, right? Just out of self-interest. Here's the other thing that people buy. I know I jokingly talked about this yesterday, but when you guys go to a grocery store and you see all the massive stuff, right? Think about how many billions upon trillions of moving parts there are in the world to get products to certain places. I just went down one small little path, and I could have gone down 1,000 or 10,000 other variations on that path, all because everyone wants something. Right? Even if I look at a communist country or North Korea, socialized dictatorship, they still have to get stuff from certain places outside of their country. And so they have to pay money to have that transported and all the things that go into transporting that stuff. Right? So it's absolutely insane if I look at just self-interest. Right? The other part of this is incentives. Now, incentives, I can adjust your incentive. Who in here has ever been promised a pay raise? No one's been promised a pay raise? Anybody know that every year there's like a small increase in your pay? No? All right, I'll jump down a different path. Are you a server at Longhorn, or are you hostess? Okay. Do you get part of the perks of the tips? So, do you want people to be happy in the store, in the restaurant? If they're happy, they tip more. Right? So there's the incentive to be nice to the customer, even if they're idiots, right? Which you've probably run into a couple. Because the incentive is, I'm going to get a nice little bump in pay if I get a little extra this weekend. There are two types of incentives. Right? There's negative and there's positive. The negative one, has anybody ever been in front of a police officer? Right? Just driving, well, you haven't driven.
Well, I haven't driven yet, but like I know.
But you know the feeling.
I
Right?
know a lot of.
Yeah. Or just the fact that you're in a friend's car and there's a cop behind you. What happens to your driving speed all of a sudden? What do you start doing? Oh my gosh, okay, no, speed's fine. And you start to go like through all of the things you just did for like the last 30 seconds to a minute. Like, okay, how long have you been back there? All right, did I put my blinker on? Okay, speed, I'm with speed, okay, I'm within 5. I think it should be okay with 5. But you even like take your foot off the gas a little bit, you slow down a little bit. That's a negative incentive. There's the fear of something's going to happen to you. If I were to promise you guys that I would fine you $5,000 per person if you got below a C in my class, and I was allowed to do that, what would you guys have to do to avoid that $5,000 fine? I have to get an A or B. Right? I don't want to get fined if I get below, because it's a negative, it's a scary thing, right? Or I could do the positive incentive, which kind of goes back to that Serenity in regards to Longhorn. If I promised you guys a $5,000 bonus check for getting an A in my class, how many of you guys would do every possible thing you guys could do to get an A in my class? Right? There's a positive incentive. So I can adjust your self-interest based off of incentives. Right? Anytime you see a sale, Levin Furniture is the biggest. Has anybody ever worked at, or bought anything from Levin or parents bought? I can guarantee your parents get email after email after email from Levin. Even after you cancel the account, somehow your name pops back up.
Yeah. Get those instructions.
And Levin has a sale for like someone sneezed. There's a sneezing sale here at Levin Furniture. It's crazy. President's Day sale, end of February sale, beginning of March sale, like nonstop. Because what do they want you to do? Come in the store, buy stuff. Sometimes it's location incentives. Has anybody ever heard of impulse shopping? Yeah. Oh yeah, you brought it up yesterday, didn't you? Which is why when you said it yesterday, I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about this just a little bit. They put things in certain places on purpose. Has anybody ever noticed at Target or Walmart where they put all the tech stuff?
All the way in the back,
Why?
because they.
Yeah,
Because they want you to go through the entire store before
I
getting all
that's
the way
what I was
back
gonna say
to.
when I
Yeah.
ordered it.
location, right? Because if I'm going back to get my brand new Apple Watch, or I'm going back to get a brand new TV, or I'm going back to get all this awesome technology, I've got to walk through all of the clothing to get there, right? And even the clothing, they have kind of highlighted in certain areas. Then if you look at, and I walked through Target the other day, and I was kind of laughing because it kind of confirmed some stuff I've talked about in the past. The makeup section. Have you ever noticed the lighting in the makeup section versus the guys section?
It's brighter.
Yeah, it's all,
They can see like all the shades.
yeah, it's all pretty and lighted very well. And you get another area and it's like, and here's what. And then of course there's toilet paper in the back corner. Like, it's all-
Yeah, I mean, it's not like an every store.
Right, so the idea is to kind of play off of that. And then at the end of the shopping trip, what do they put right at the checkouts? Right,
Little things.
little candy bars, drinks, things that you're like, all right, since I'm here. Right?
I mean, plus like when it's check out, it's cheaper.
Yeah, or if you have a really, anybody, and you could have been one of these kids, I want this toy, like little mini keychain Rubik's Cube. Yeah, well, but okay, Sally, fine, here's your Rubik's Cube, I'll get it.
It's like
Fine.
the shop.
Well, the Uno cards, I've seen Uno cards, playing cards, like nail clippers, chapsticks are always right there, mints, gum, yeah. Beef jerky, right there, it's always right there at the end. Right, so, let's see if my video's working. Yes, maybe, hey, so there's an episode of Friends, right, and we'll end with this. She talks about doing things selflessly, and so this is like a funny little. Yes.
This telethon thing on TV, and my agent got me a job as co-host.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, a little good deed from PBS plus TV exposure. And that's the kind of math Joey likes to do.
PBS. PBS. What's right with them?
Why don't you like PBS, babe?
Because right after my mom killed herself, I was just in this really bad place, personally. I just thought that it would make me feel better if I wrote to Sesame Street, because they were so nice when I was a little kid. No one ever wrote back.
Well, a lot of those Muppets don't have thumbs.
All I got was a lousy keychain, and by that time I was living in a box. I didn't have keys.
Sorry, Phoebe, I just wanted to do a good deed, like you did with the babies.
This isn't a good deed. You just want to get on TV. This is totally selfish.
Whoa. What about you having those babies for your brother? Talk about selfish.
What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, it was a really nice thing and all, but it made you feel really good, right?
Yeah, so?
Well, it made you feel good, so that makes it selfish. Look, there's no unselfish good deeds, sorry.
Yes, there are. There are totally good deeds that are selfless.
Well, may I ask for one example?
Yeah, it's,
Economics.
there's, no, you may not.
That's because all people are selfish.
Are you calling me selfish?
Are you calling you people? Yeah, sorry to burst that bubble, Phoebe, but selfless good deeds don't exist, okay? And you know the deal on Santa Claus, right?
Fine, selfless good deed. I'm gonna beat you, you evil genius. Joey, when you said the deal with Santa Claus, you meant.
That he doesn't exist.
Right. A selfless good deed. You know that really old guy who lives next door to me? Well, I snuck over there and raked up all the leaves on his front stoop, but he caught me and he like force-fed me cider and cookies. And I felt wonderful. Oh, jackass. Joey's right. Maybe all good deeds are selfish. I will find a selfless good deed. 'Cause I just gave birth to 3 children and I will not let them be raised in a world where Joey is right.
PBS telethon.
Hey, Joey. I just wanted to let you know that I found a selfless good deed. I went down to the park and I let a bee sting me.
What is that gonna do anybody?
Well, it helps the bee look tough in front of his bee friends. The bee is happy and I am definitely not.
You know, the bee probably died after you stung him.
Damn it.
PBS telethon. Hey, Phoebes.
I would like to make a pledge. I would like to donate $200.
$200. You sure, Phoebes? I mean, after what Sesame Street did to you?
Oh, I'm still mad at them. But I also know that they bring happiness to lots of kids whose moms didn't kill themselves. By supporting them, I'm doing a good thing, but I'm not happy about it. They're a selfless good deed.
All right, and you don't feel a little good about donating the money?
No, it sucks. I was saving up to buy a hamster.
But those things are like $10.
Yeah, not the one I had my eye on.
We have surpassed last year's punch total. Thank you, George. Last activity was taken by one of our volunteers. Oh, boy, may I say one of our sharpest dressed volunteers. Joseph Triviani.
Ah, look, Joey's on TV! Isn't that great? Hey, my friend's got Joey on TV! Oh, that makes me feel so. Oh,
All right.